Hello and welcome to my 3008 service video. Here we are removing the plug for the MAF sensor. Once that is then done, we are going to move to the Jubilee clip, which is on the intake pipe, and that's a 7mm socket. You can then push the tube back out of the way of the airbox and give it a light tug, and it will come up and out. On the 3008, the brake reservoir sits above it, so you come out and over to the left and pull it through. On the airbox, there are 4 Phillips head screws to undo. We're off, so I thought I'd take it apart and change the filter every once off. I have found something mad, genuinely mad. Right now, the previous owner told me that this had been serviced recently before I bought the vehicle, right? That's a lie, but what I found inside the airbox is even weirder. Honestly, this is actually mad. So, okie dokie. So, here's the top of my airbox. This is genuinely the airbox off my car. No messing around. You can see my car in the background now. So, I'm going to pull off the air filter and show you this was serviced only a few months ago. I would say that probably hasn't been serviced a few months ago. But I've made an even worse discovery. Ready? And this will definitely prove to you this hasn't been done a few months ago, right? Ready? See if you spot it. This is inside my airbox. Can you see that? You probably can't see much there, but I'm going to pull it out and show you. That there. Oh my god. That is literally a dead mouse in my airbox. That is so bad. That is crazy. So yeah, I'm going to hoover that out. Going to bury Stuart Little. And then I put my new fresh filter in there. But genuinely, I couldn't have laced that in there. That was just, oh, it's so hard. Oh, yeah, that is mad, absolutely mad. So this is me now installing my aftermarket panel filter, which will definitely give a little bit more turbo and induction noise, as well as a slight increase in performance. It's probably not noticeable, let's be real. So the dreaded fuel filter. This one isn't the easiest. As you can see in this video, I wasn't able to actually remove the top part, or didn't risk wanting to break anything to remove the top part. So you've got those 4 Torx screws. Those are a T30. You can take all of those off. The plug you see loose there, that simply unplugs and comes off. Then you've got your fuel hoses. What you have to do is pull the center tab out and then push the outer area down, which basically takes the clamp off of the notch that the fuel hose fits onto. As you can see, I removed the left one, perfect. And then I could not, for the love of God, get the bottom one off on the right hand side. The top one was fine, the bottom one would not come off. So what I then did was get a flathead, as you can see here, and pry the top of the cover open. And then once the cover's open, you can just about squeeze the filter off and out of the way and put the new filter on, which I'm going to show you as we get into it now. Remember to change your seal when you do this, it's very important. Switch that seal over, get that filter back in. As you can see, it's very dirty. And get it replaced, put it all back together, and then onto the bleeding stage, which is where the hose we just put in has a pump, a manual pump. So what you're going to do is you're going to pump that until it goes hard, and that's basically taking fuel from the fuel tank, putting it through the filter and into that hose coming out, so there's no air in the system, or at least very little air. Although you've manual pumped, what I do is I circulate the ignition 3 times. So ignition on, wait for 30 seconds, the fuel pump will pump the fuel up to the engine, and this again just helps to stop any air in the system. Then start it after a few times. Onto the oil filter, as you can see, you need a special tool, and these are a metal filter. So the hybrids and some of the start-stop engines have these metal ones. As you can see, we've got to remove a few bits out of the way to get down to it. What I suggest when you do finally get there is make sure that you line up the special socket on the filter, and I did use a hammer to give it a little bit of a tap down to make sure you get sufficient grip on the filter. It's in such an awkward position on this engine, it's ridiculous. As you can see, it's an absolute nightmare. Such a fiddle. And like I said before, make sure you line up the grooves with the socket. This means you don't slip it, and it potentially could get stuck if you can't grip onto it. This is me trying to show you the way of pulling it out. There's no simple way, it's just in the way of everything. And then once you're all done, you reconnect it all back together, and then you can obviously go to drain your oil. And this is just me draining the oil. I'm trying not to get it over the driveway. As you can see here, they're not the best design. It's a complete vertical drop, so you've got to have a millisecond response to get your fingers out of the way of that oil before it drops out. And as you can see, I get just a little bit on my glove, but that's pretty normal with these, and it comes to be prepared to make sure you have the right bits to do the job. So the pollen filter is very well hidden on this car actually. It's on a slight slant behind the unit here. I've just removed. So you push that hinge on that cover there, and that drops that cover down. The cover unclips out. As you can see, it really is a disgusting job. You basically pull it out of the hole that's up on the left hand side, and then you push the new ones in, and they slot in next to each other. So you put the first one in, and then the second one in. The first one goes in, it gets pushed down, and then the second one goes on top, and vice versa for removal.